Okay.
I do have a call before though.
Okay. Just 1 second. I'm posting this on social media. Okay. So, go. So I can have chat. Okay. So this is the image we took at our hotel in National Harbor. Oh God. Yeah, so as you can see, it's pretty cool, but kind of dull. Unfortunately, there's no catch light in her eyes, so that's not very fun, but it happens. So what I really need to do to make this box a little smaller right now. Of course I can't, it's not going. Okay. So basically what I want to do is lighten her up. Maybe add some color to it. I'm just gonna show you how I do it, and we'll see how it goes. So first of all, always duplicate the layer. You never know what you're gonna want to take back or do whatever. I have done many times where I didn't duplicate the layer and I horribly regretted it. So yeah, do that. So first things first, I usually kind of start with like just fixing small things. So, you know, just editing, you know, skin a little bit, just, you know, adjusting small things I see. So I'm going to go to the healing brush tool here. Just going to awkwardly zoom in. And we're just going to use that on the skin here. And I just hit Alt to it kind of grabs a selection of skin that's close and kind of blends it in together. So you don't have these weird like dots everywhere on people's faces or anything like that. But not much work to be done here. It's pretty easy. Okay. Let's see. Her eyes are really dark, I just noticed. So I'm going to see if we can do something about that. I mean, they're pretty in shadow, so come in super close and awkward with the dodge tool and kind of see what it does. Unfortunately, I think it's just going to be dark. And this is where editing in Lightroom with RAW can come into play. You can pull back a little more than Photoshop can. Not getting much out of it. She'll just have super dark eyes. You know, I'm zooming in and out a lot, so I'm sorry if that makes someone sick. Yeah, okay. So now I just kind of fix some shadows if we can. What I like to do is use the paintbrush, and typically I have black and white over here. I was working with some purple on the last photograph, so that's why that's up there. So I take a white brush and put my opacity down to like 8%, like super low. And you can just kind of sort of lighten people just a little bit. If you do it too much, it'll look really silly. That's why the opacity is like super low. But she has like a small shadow on her face due to the lighting we were using. So I just kind of want to go in and fix it just ever so. I mean, I don't care that she has, she's always going to have, it's always going to be a little gray and darker on that side. But we can help it just a little bit. I'm going to do that over here on her arm too, because it's a little dark, and on her corset just a little bit. Just, if you need to change the opacity over on this side, you can too. If 8% is like out of control, go ahead. It's just every picture is different. Every picture is lit differently, has different issues, etc., etc. So you just have to kind of see what every picture brings you. And when it gets really dark right here, obviously the white shows like way more. So I just kind of bring it down a little bit. So that's kind of the difference so far. It's a little better. Shows her off a little better. Yeah. And you can do the same thing with black. Black will obviously make things darker. And since I kind of lightened up her eyeshadow here, I kind of want to take it back. So you can take the black, we'll put black at 6%, and you can just make it darker again. You can do this with with eyeliner. Like if someone's wearing eyeliner and you kind of want to make it darker, you can use the black tool, the black paintbrush, put the opacity at something super low and kind of mess around with it. You can also do that with highlighting and low lighting people's lips. Like if you want to accentuate the highlight on her lips, you can add to it, and then do some low lighting here, just accentuating. It's not really this is a weird angle. We're coming from extremely below her, so lips are a little different, differently lit than we normally would have them lit. But you can also use it to contour people's face. So if you have the white brush, and make sure your hardness is at 0. Don't ever, if you're doing this, do not have it at like any percent higher than 0. So if you want to contour, I don't know how well it will look because we've already highlighted her face, and her face is painted white. But you kind of add a white brush on the top of the cheekbones here, and then you add a dark brush underneath the cheekbones, and it kind of creates like what you do if you're a female, what you're kind of doing with blush and highlighting on your face. So it kind of creates, if you look more at this side that's already lit up, you can tell more. There's a slight highlight on their top cheekbone there, and it just accentuates the face. A lot of cosplayers already contour, so you don't necessarily will have to do that, but it's something fun to do, and it kind of makes their face stand out a little more than it would if they weren't. So that's what I've done to the facial region. I think it looks pretty good. Let's see. Can always add a little more blue. I feel like I got rid of some of the blue when I was messing around with highlighting and stuff, so you can just add it a little back, kind of the same color that her eyeshadow was already done and lipstick was already done, just to accentuate what she was trying to go, what she was going with here. Typically, the camera can wash it out just a little bit, and that's why it's always super important to wear makeup in cosplay, because the camera is not friendly. So I've accentuated some blue, and now let's look at the whole picture here. This wall was crazy. We wanted to shoot with it the whole weekend, and this girl was nice enough to come to our hotel and shoot with us here. We made her wait a little while because we had to set up everything. So now what I'm going to do is work with curves. I only recently started working with curves. I used to work strictly in like Lightroom and then pop it into Photoshop if there was something extra that I felt that Lightroom couldn't do. So I'm going to go down here, curves, and I just use it mainly to lighten up the picture a little bit. I noticed that Kevin and I, we shoot a little dark, and that can affect the overall brightness of the picture. And I just have now recently, looked back at our pictures and gone, they're kind of dark. And curves definitely helps that. So I take the top section here, the first corner of the box, and I pull it up. And obviously, that's a lot brighter than it was. To add some contrast, you can take the bottom corner over here and pull it down. And, not every picture is going to be great with that. And like I said, every picture is different. Every lighting is different, natural versus flash, etc., etc. So you just kind of have to play with it and hope it all works out. I usually do 2 or 3 points on curves, and you can kind of see the difference. I mean, it was pretty bland and monotone, and now it's like, it's bright. Obviously, the flash is hitting her upper body over here, so that's gonna take all of the lightness, but I like that. And next, what I do. Oh, and by the way, I guess if you're not familiar with curves, it also creates a layer mask for you. So if you do something in curves and maybe you don't want the background quite as bright, you can click on the white box here, go black, do the opacity at whatever you want, and then you can black away whatever you may not want highlighted or contrasts. But I kind of like the wall a little white there, so I'm going to put it back. And then I'm going to come down to the same menu that I did for curves and do selective color. This will create some tones for your picture. Depends on what you do. So I use 4 of the colors. I do reds, whites, neutrals, and blacks. The bottom 3 will make the most impact. The res is kind of for like skin tone and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit red, and then you have these 4 sliders, and you kind of drag them, and you can kind of see, it's kind of hard to see. If I go this far, she turns a little green, and if I go this far, she turns really red. So I kind of want to go on the reddish side a little bit, just because skin. You don't want green skin. Yellow, you can do if you want to go really yellow or more cool. I'm going to do a little cool, I think. And then blacks is just, that. I'm going to get rid of some of the blacks because it is kind of shadowy. Whites will obviously take all the whites in the picture and move them how you want. So, want more blue, which I think I do because she's like an ice fairy type thing. Magenta, etc., etc. And this is kind of boring, but this is kind of what Photoshop is. You kind of just have to fiddle with everything. And, none of the 2 pictures I edit in a row are the same settings, so I can't just copy and paste because, like I said, okay, none of those look good with that. Every photograph's different, even if it's in the same area or in the same group. blacks will kind of make it like, you know, if you want something, you know, like you've seen in fashion, kind of where it's like low contrast colors and things like that. So that's kind of what blacks will do, because it'll take the contrast, the blackness out of it basically, and turn it to whatever color you're going for. And obviously I'm kind of going for some blue here. See where it goes, and then this is kind of the contrast. So this is basically what selective color has done for my picture. Obviously, this picture is very blue, so it's very easy. Typically, I kind of go towards yellow and browns, but since that wouldn't really apply to this picture, this is kind of before and after. This is the before, kind of more natural. This is the after, a little more blue. And I always go back and kind of like double check everything. Like, do I really like what I just did? I mean, there's very few times where I will undo it. If you want to, you know, change the curves, you click the circular button and kind of mess around with it again. That's not pretty. So we can, you know, we can make it lighter or whatever. Yeah, because this picture is pretty dark. So I do have actions in my database of stuffs. Actions are great because they do make everything faster. Obviously, you know, not the same actions will work with every picture, but yeah, I have a lot of them. So I'm gonna do a face smoothing one. I should have stopped that right now, actually. That's not what I wanted to do. Oh god, it's gonna blow up on me. Anyways, I like this face smoothing action mainly because I can adjust how strong I want it. As some of you may know, oh god, some people go a little overboard in pictures, and you look at a picture and you're just like, okay, they have no texture in their skin whatsoever. And that's definitely not what we like to go for. Smoothing, yeah, we still like to smooth. It helps, with me personally, it helps smooth out shadows on your face. And hopefully this image will be a good example of what I mean. It also helps with shine. So let me try that again. This is action that I bought. Now I lost it. Oh. And it's called MK Heart and Soul. It's a little expensive, but I did used to do the skin smoothing the other way. I've tried other ways, but it takes a little long, so I just got it in action form. And you can always make your own way you like. Mine, you gotta Google it, but I would highly suggest this one. There's a lot of things, you know, there's my favorite kind of one is anti-lobster skin. So if someone kind of, you know, maybe got sunburnt and they're cosplaying, or, you know, we do weddings, and so a lot of people get sunburn on their face or chest or something, we can get rid of that. It kind of, it mellows it out, and it makes it just so easy. It's just done. We don't even have to like try to do all these things to figure it out. Hey Maria! Sorry, the chat's a little delayed. So some people type things, and And my cam likes to tweak out when it's trying to use stuff. This is going to take a while. It's taking a while because I think we're live streaming and Photoshop's like, oh god, why? But yeah, there's a lot of great skin smoothing techniques that are pretty fast. That I think a lot of people would want. So sorry, it'll just take just a second here. Really, you guys can't even see what I can see. There's a pop-up that says progress. I promise you, I'm not just sitting here. Almost done, I think. Oh my goodness. What's up?
What do you mean? That's all. Would restarting the computer not help?
No, Kevin thinks restarting the computer would fix everything. I don't want to restart it. It's doing this because yeah, Photoshop's really mad at me right now. Because live stream. I'm sorry.
Close the tabs, it'll help.
I'm closing tabs. This is embarrassing. Closing tabs. But hopefully this will sort itself out. We had a hard time getting the live stream up and running. It did not want to broadcast. So okay. Done? Not even close. Oh my god. Well, now the computer's running faster, so I think Facebook was pissing it off. Damn it, Facebook. As you can see, okay. Finally, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're gonna just do some softening of the face. Not too much, obviously. We don't want her to look like a scary doll or something. So I have this up here. It's called Flawless Face, and it's black, so that means I can paint in on her skin and control what I want. So I usually put the opacity at 30 to 40%, and then I kind of do the double check and see if I like it. So here we go. I just kind of paint it on, and this is always funny to me because I'll do it and then I'll be like, it didn't do anything, and then I'll do the before and after, and I'm like, whoa, okay. And I think that's why people can get kind of heavy-handed with it, because when you are doing some softening, it doesn't look like you're doing much. So before and after, I don't know if you guys can see it there, but it definitely softens the shadows on her face and just kind of makes it just a little bit softer without like completely blowing out her pores or anything like that. And so that's what I like using for that. And I mean, she looks pretty good. Everything looks pretty good. Fortunately, it was a pretty good, awesome picture to begin with. There's nothing I really need to accentuate here. Her face is pretty good. And like I said, I do have actions that do tones. I do have this selective color tone here that added a lot of blue, so I might not want to do anything. I don't know. You never know until you try. I mean, like that is crazy blue. That's kind of gross. But always just play around with opacity. Sometimes I see things and I'm like, I would never like that. That's gross, disgusting. It's kind of nice. I kind of like how it changes the tone of the blue, because the blue we used was a little dark, and she's obviously going for an ice thing, and so that's kind of nice. So I always click back and forth and see, what's combining with what, how does it go. So I kind of like that. Not bad. This picture didn't need much work. She's pretty good to go. Yeah. So I'm gonna do another one here. It's I can't remember the name, but we'll pull it up from Lightroom here. So just 1 second. We met this girl. We randomly approached her because we couldn't do Flash at Katsucon. They were really rude at Katsucon about Flash. So we got her to come up to the 5th floor. Here's a good one. Of the Gaylord, and sat her in front of a window and started messing around. So we'll pull that from Lightroom. We use Lightroom to organize our pictures, kind of get some better exposure down before I pop it into Photoshop. This cosplayer that I'm about to pull in, her name is Angel, and she's super nice, and I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure, her cosplay name on Facebook is Rue the Day. So if anybody wants to add her, they can. I unfortunately can't remember the previous girl's Facebook name because I'm a horrible person. So let me get this into Photoshop here, if it will let me. Gonna explode. It'll be just a second here. Oh, I need like hotel waiting music. Ding,
Copywritten.
ding, ding. Oh, it is copywritten? Hotel waiting music is copywritten?
Probably.
That's why I can't have that.
You can play the melody for her.
Can't have nice things because everything is copywritten.
You can play She's a Jolly Good Fellow. That's not
For she.
Right.
Jelly. Oh.
No, but the melody from it is okay. I think if you sing it in a different language, it's okay too.
Oh. I need to learn another language. Okay, it's getting there. It's reading it. It's trying. It's pulling through. I totally just like messed up my jam over here. Okay. Ta-da! Here's the image I was just talking about. If you guys have any questions or anything, don't be scared to ask. I will answer it to the best of my ability. Just because I'm not doing something here doesn't mean I don't ever do it. It's just everything's different every time. Okay. So this is an amazing cosplay. It blew my mind. And there's a couple things wrong with the picture, obviously, so let's fix it. Duplicate layer, always, forever, every time. So, obviously we have this thing that says fire right behind her head. That's not really awesome. Want to fix a couple shadows and things like that. Dang, this cosplay is intricate. Wow. Okay. So thankfully in this picture she does have a tiny bit of catch light because she's facing the camera. So I'm going to do the same method. Go to white. This is not quite white. So this is 100% white zone. 8%. I always do 8 and then kind of figure out where to go from there. So I'm gonna pop it in the eyes just a little bit, not too much. And you know, you can always undo it and bring it back. Just kind of trying to get a little more action going on the front end. And curves will help with this too, but not as much in these dark areas that we have here. So I'm just gonna kind of go around and do that here. And yeah, keep an eye on it. I mean, the white does obviously make it less contrasty, but I actually prefer it over dodging, because dodging, ugh, I'm so bad at dodging. I feel like I just go out of control with dodging, and then it just looks like poo. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So we got that. And then black. So I'm going to kind of, unfortunately, there's a slight bit of motion blur going on here, but that's okay. I'm going to do black on her eyes, just to kind of accentuate her dark makeup. And you can also, you know, do it people's eyebrows, just to kind of bring it out just a little bit. Yeah. And for like lightning eyes, I will use the dodge tool, just because it's a little better at doing that. But you don't want to go overboard. I've seen some lightning of eyes that are a little much. Now, obviously, she's wearing like gray-ish contacts or something, so they kind of pull through like that. So that kind of makes it nicer. Before, after, her eyes, I don't know if you can see, but her eyes definitely stand out a little more, and they don't look ridiculous. If you want to highlight the lips, make sure I'm back at the paintbrush. Just put a little white, kind of just accentuates it, and it's pretty subtle, but creates an ombre effect here. I'm going to do the same thing, and it'll probably be more noticeable on her cheek than on the other girls, because she's using her natural skin tone here. So we do the highlight up on this upper cheekbone here. So we're going to do that. We do a little boop over here. And then we take the black and do that. And now that's kind of a dark. So I'm going to just kind of and it just, I don't know. Highlighting and contouring are very important for cheekbones, and it just creates something. And if you're like, that's a little overdone, you can always just take it down a notch with the opacity over here, or the opacity up here, etc., etc. Looks good so far. Everything's looking pretty all right. Okay. I think now would be a good time to try to get rid of this like fire sign. Couldn't quite crop that out of the picture when I was taking it because of her awesome feather hat thing. So usually if I'm I'm gonna try content aware. I'm a little worried because it is close to her feather, so it's probably not going to work, but we will try. So what I usually use is this lasso tool, where you can make like angular shapes instead of having to drag it all the time because I'm so bad at selecting things. So go to Edit, Fill, and make sure that the drop-down menu is select Content Aware. And Content Aware, depending on how big... Okay, sorry, so that didn't work. That looks hilarious. Okay. This happens sometimes. Sometimes Content Aware is like the most mind-blowing thing you will ever work with, and sometimes you're like, I have no idea what you just did, Content Aware. So a couple things you can try. Kevin's favorite way is the patch tool. So what the patch tool does is you select your area that you want to go away. So I'll select it. And then what you do is you drag it to where you want the source material to come from. So I'm dragging it over to the right side of the wall here because that's what I want it to replace it. And it'll try to replace and blend and make it look more natural. So we'll see what patch does. Okay, so patch, it's not, I mean, I wouldn't leave it like that. It looks a little silly. You know, and you can, like what we've done when we've worked with patch before is if it didn't look right the first time, you know, you can always just like do sections of it and just kind of drag it around and like kind of try to fix it. Because patch, when the bigger the selection is, the harder time it has with it. So you can try to do that. Obviously, this light blob-esque thing isn't really going to go anywhere. It's pretty stuck in its ways. It looks a little weird. It's not as bad as kind of a little interesting. So, I mean, that got rid of most of it. I'm going to leave it right there for now. You can also... There's like 50 million ways how to get rid of something, seriously. And we all have our horrible ways of doing it. This is clone stamp. Be careful with clone stamp. Clone stamp can get a little scary. So I always put the hardness down on clone stamp because then you won't be able to tell as much. Thankfully, the tone of this wall is pretty much equal, so hopefully we shouldn't have too much of a problem getting the right colors. There's a weird color. There. Kevin's watching me now, analyzing my horrible Photoshop work.
I'm gonna say you used the patch tool was set for a different mode.
It was selected for source.
So change patch from normal.
For what?
Wait, put
Content aware?
Yeah.
Okay, Kevin says do content
We'll
aware.
go all the way back. It's easy, probably easier.
I did a lot of patching, Kev. So let's try Kevin's way of content aware. Oh!
Well, hold on.
That wasn't better.
Like I said, go all the way back.
I can't. That's as back as it goes. You messed it up.
No, I didn't mess it up.
Kevin's idea was awful, and I was getting somewhere, and he just backtracked me. So
you also patched from a different.
Now Kevin's making excuses. I'm just messing with you. Sometimes, I'm sorry, in situations like this, it can be a little difficult. Kevin's way would probably work, but I can't go back that far because I've already screwed myself here. So, but the clone stamp wasn't doing that bad of a job, so still good. Let's go back. So yeah, just with this, you gotta mess around. there's different tones. There's light and darks here. There's different types of purple. It can get really frustrating to work with images when you're trying to delete something. That's why when content aware does work, it's like, oh my god, the most amazing, rejoiceable. Oh god, okay. I don't know. Clone stamp gets out of control. Whoop, 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 whoop. Sometimes I just get angry and start doing random stuff. Oh god. And it gets super hard because she has a feather, and going around feathers is like, bleh. It's like hair. Just awful. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can. Okay, we'll see how. And it doesn't look that bad. It's not really noticeable, unless you know it's there. Then it is. But I'm gonna say that's not bad for all that work. Okay. So this is what we're looking at so far. Yeah, so now it's time for curves. Let's do curves, everybody. Okay, so just like last picture, unless you weren't here for last picture, I do upper curve over here in this corner and lower curve down here in this corner. So I'm going to go ahead and, like I said before, every picture is different. I mean, seriously. That's nice. Doop, 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 doop. Yeah, looks a lot better. I mean, this picture was definitely low contrast, which is what Kevin and I run into a lot. It looks really nice. She looks beautiful. Lovely, everybody. Okay, now to selective color. This will be interesting because with the other one, I just obviously did blue because it was so blue in there. And this one, for face, definitely gonna more towards red because human skin has little red undertones. So more towards yellow on that one, and black down. And then I'm gonna go to whites. So this will affect, obviously, the whites in the image. So you just kind of have to play with, like, what tones do I want in the image? Do I want it to be warm, maybe cold, red, green? I definitely stay away from green. Green makes things look weird. It makes people look sickly in background. Unless you're doing, I guess, if you're doing a landscape, then green it up, yo. Okay. Neutrals is obviously where it covers. Oh, that looks kind of cool. Anyways. So just think I want more reddy yellow for this image just because of the purple. Purple or yellow. Fortunately, the yellow kind of combats the purple, so but the purple then is too purple. These are the dilemmas you come up with in Photoshop land. Didn't really do much there because I'm too scared to do anything. So, like I said before, this kind of affects like what color you're doing the blacks. Kind of like it more towards this way. It kind of looks cool. Personal preference, everything. You gotta play around. I always like to go to the extremes just so then when I pull back it seems a lot better. Yeah, a little out of control now. I did something.
If you do have a second,
Kevin is over here now. What's up? Yeah, it
before
looks
you apply the color,
cool. What?
maybe clone something here to get rid of that big old purple splotch.
I like it. Looks like she's in the neon 80s. I don't know how to get rid of that. I'm gonna be honest.
I'd outline it and then, or make
Grab
a
that.
same chunk of that and just slide it over.
Okay.
I don't know, maybe.
Okay, so Kevin's noticing this purple neon splotch here from the flash that we used behind her, the purple flash. This is before and after, by the way. Kind of more richer and yellower, etc. So I will try to do that since, yeah. So use this. We'll see. Everything's an experiment. Sometimes I see if I can do stuff. Sometimes, you know, you composite, you replace people's heads. Nope, that didn't work. I'm sorry. I did something stupid. Sorry. Okay. So we're gonna see. Oh, it's not working. Oh, that's why.
You're the wrong layer.
I was on the wrong layer. Horrible, horrible person. Okay. So we're gonna see if we can replace this distracting kind of neon thing with this bar work over here. So I'm gonna take the opacity of that layer down just so I can see what the hoo-ha I'm doing. Okay. We'll make it a layer mask. So just in case I erase something too far, I can undo it with white. So for black, to erase section, if it's gonna do it. Oh my god. Oh, it's because my opacity is down to 7. Always check your opacity. Okay. I'm also really soft right now. I'm gonna go to a harder brush because if you don't, you'll get that feathering. It doesn't look so good. I'm just gonna see. Okay, this is just a quick. Okay, so it ends right there. Interesting. Okay. So the only problem I'm seeing is it's a little smaller and the color tones are different here. So we can't just have like this black line. Okay. Thinking!
Oh, I see what you're saying.
No, wrong brush. So we'll see if this works. Ah! Ooh. Nope. This is the glow and the black. I can't get it perfectly straight because my hands are human. Whoop. Nope.
That's fine. Zoom out.
So I mean, I could
I put a blue layer on there.
add, like, take this purple and put it on top, possibly. Even though it won't work like that because that's not how shit works. Because they're on need to, I'm gonna merge these two layers so I can edit the purple, just because there's this glow from the light purple going on. So it's a little sloppy. It doesn't look that bad, I guess. Cha-chan. Okay. So there we have edited a thing, whatever, a frame. You can see before, after, in her armhole there. This looks a little silly over here, so I'm gonna get rid of that. But yeah, much better. Thanks, Kevin. Kevin notices things I don't notice sometimes. That's why we make a good team. Plus, we can yell at each other later. Okay. All right, so there's that before and after. Curves before and after. Color. We definitely added some contrast there. Yeah. I will show you face stuff. If you ever want to add like some blush. I know that's a little weird, but sometimes it can, like, some people don't wear blush, so it can add like just a little depth. So basically all it is a pink layer, solid color. You can see what color it is if you want to copy it here. And then a black layer mask. And this is just like painted. But this color is super strong, obviously, so I bring the opacity down to like 5-6%. And then we paint it white just because of the layer mask. And like, you can tell she's wearing blush, so she probably doesn't need it. I'm just showing you guys just in case it's ever something you're interested in doing. You just take a big, and you got to make sure the hardness is at 0 or close to it, and you just kind of make it big and color it there. Oh. See, when my brush opacity is at 4% and my layer opacity is at 6%, it doesn't really work out. Okay, try it again. So you can see we just added some color there to her cheeks. I mean, it is subtle, but just like the highlighting and contouring, it does add depth. You can also do this color for lips if you feel like maybe you want to just add some tonality. You can just pop it on. She's already wearing lipstick, so it's not really a big deal. It didn't really affect it. They're almost the same color, actually. But if you feel maybe someone should have pink lips, you can always add that too. And yeah, I mean, that's just something I do. Flawless face, like I talked about last time, it's just a face softening technique, and we like to use it for shadows. Look up whatever technique you think will be best, make it into an action, and then that time you don't that way you don't have to do all the layers and all like the tryings and stuff like that. You can just have it and you're like, I know I like it. I suggest a way that you can adjust the intensity of it, because if I wouldn't be able to adjust this intensity, she would look, you know, overdone like we've seen. So again, at 40%, just give it a little. And again, I'm sorry about the motion blur on this. There's just ever so slight motion blur. And you obviously want to avoid, things like the bottom half of the nose, the, rim around the lips and things like that, because then it just makes it too soft and then just look weird and out of focus. So that's just what it does. It just ever so slightly softens it up. And if I did that 100%, it would be ridiculous, seriously. And again, I always just like to go and click and make sure I'm doing what I like to be doing. um, and, again, I go through my actions. These actions are by Michelle Kane. These are paid actions. I used to have free ones that I downloaded, and you can always make your own as well. This selective color that I did, that could be an action. That's basically what actions are. You just kind of play with colors and contrast and sharpening and etc. etc. These ones up here, Sunny Rose, Blueberry Touch, Sweet Flower, etc. I got from DeviantArt, and those aren't bad, honestly. I just got these actions just because there's a butt ton, seriously, so many, and like I said, every picture is different. I can just go through and it's like, what do I want from this picture? Do I want it to be super not contrast? I can do I want it to have a film effect? Do I want it to be crazy contrast? Do I want it to be purple? And that's just kind of what I was looking for personally. But there's a lot of great free ones on DeviantArt that you can play around with and achieve a lot of looks with. So I highly suggest that, just because it'll add some more flair to your images. We don't really do that hardcore photoshopping. Just curves and coloring and stuff like that. Some people go crazy and do the cool effects and the fire and the lightning and whatever. And we wish we could do that, and something that maybe we can learn later, or compositing and stuff like that. But this is what we do for now. It kind of works for us and what we like. So yeah, this is kind of my editing. It's kind of short. Some images obviously take way longer than others, depending on what's in the background, what's going on, things like that. I did an image before this one. It took me an hour. So I hope this helped some people who maybe are trying to learn an editing style or just kind of see what other people do. Because I know not very many people share their techniques because they want to keep it private. So I hope this helps some people. Thanks for watching. Maybe I'll do it again if I learn something new, more epic or something like that. So awesome. We will see you all later. Thanks for watching.